No. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Ow, 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 ow. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Ooh, the gym. My old stomping grounds. Hank Patterson, fly fishing guide.
Riley Smith, tight end.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the kicker?
No, tight end.
Again, thank you. I'm looking for a kicker for Lithia Ford's fall kickoff sale. But you're not the kicker.
No.
Yeah. Nah, the kicker's probably taller and in a lot better shape. So, okay. What position do you play?
Tight end.
Squats. Yeah. Try it sometime.
RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. First up, he led the Broncos to 3 conference championships and 10 20-win seasons. It's Coach Leon Rice. Next, he's the founder and CEO of RowPaint.com. He played a little basketball in high school on the driveway with his mom. It's Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
Now that I can do. When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust RowPaint.com to get that job done right.
Welcome to the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News, as we get you set for the latest news, insight, and analysis as game time approaches. The BNN pregame show is presented by Lithia Ford of Boise. Check out LithiaFordBoise.com to view the full inventory of vehicles, or check them out at 8853 West Fairview in Boise. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now, let's head out and join BJ Rains for the Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show from Bronco Nation News.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? We're already laughing, having a good time. Hope you guys can hear us okay. We have some new equipment, and we think we're going to be good here. We have a seat to the far side that's going to be going to our special guests here shortly throughout the show. We're going to mix in some special guests and have some fun. But we have Brad Bedell. We have Kent Riddle. My name is BJ Rains. And again, we're new equipment, new technology. We think we're good on the audio. Let us know if there are any issues. Something always pops up. But beautiful day, spring game. Appreciate you guys for stopping by, and should be a fun afternoon out on the Blue today.
Absolutely. It's always good to get the squad back in the stadium and have the fans come out and take a look at what's coming up.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for a better day, so hopefully that'll bring some people out, maybe even just people walking down the Greenbelt or whatever.
Yeah.
Pop in for a little bit. I don't know how much of a show is going to be put on in the game there. Sounds like the first half is no tackling, and second half, I'm sure most of the guys that have been tackled a bunch in their career will probably not be out there. But, you know, it'd be great for all those guys that don't get a ton of playing time in the season, or, you know, maybe redshirted last year and they're expecting big things this year to get out there on the Blue in front of fans. And, you know, so next year that's not such a different experience for them.
So. Well, what's the number one goal coming out of a spring game, Red?
Nobody hurt.
Nobody hurt. Stay healthy.
Yeah, they've had a couple minor ones. We haven't heard of anything super major. They had a lot of guys that already were out just due to clean up stuff from the offseason and that kind of thing. So you are dealing with less, you don't have your incoming freshmen yet for the most part, although they do have a good number of those guys that came in early. Plus you have a number of key guys. I think we counted 8, 9, maybe even 10 starters, projected starters on both sides of the ball that are out. But it's given a lot of chance for some younger guys, and we'll get into that. You mentioned the format. Again, if you have a question or a comment for Coach Riddle, Coach Bedell, let us know. We'll get to that. We're going to have Malachi Nelson's dad, Eric, actually stop by here in just a couple minutes to kick it off. I know Grant Hedrick is going to join us as well, and John Mallory, Mike Prater, whoever else. We got the open mic and the open chair. We'll just see who wants to come hang out and talk some football here, and it is a beautiful day. I can remember some no, Bree's not coming today, I don't think. You didn't have the mic up to your face, but I still heard you on that. No, I think she's in Boulder, Colorado, I believe, or wherever she was. But
Coach Primes.
Yes,
check out that debacle.
Yes, but again, if there's, I think I haven't heard any comments saying they can't hear us, so I think we're good. Let us know. We're here to kind of celebrate, the spring game, and put a wrap on the spring season, and turn our attention to what should be a pretty exciting 2024 football season. As we said, first half is going to be, what do they call it? Wrap. I don't know what they call it. So you get that first kind of hit. I mean, it's not like totally two-hand touch. It's physical, but you're not bringing guys down to the ground.
The big deal will be like anything that's squared up, the defense will try and wrap up. Anything from the side, they'll tag off on. So those are always a little bit, because you're like, oh, he wouldn't have got him, and the defense is yelling, sack, down, whatever, whatever.
The statistics are very skewed.
Yes.
I mean,
there's no yards after contact.
7 yards behind the quarterback, and he yells sack, they're going to stop it, and that goes against rushing yards. And so everybody gets upset when at the end of the spring game, like, you only rest for 5 yards. Well, it's all relative. But the O-line, the front seven, that's live. That's go.
Okay.
So you'll still get some good looks at the O-line, the D-line, the linebackers, and
it's really just the ball carriers.
And I guess that's a trade-off for folks. So if they want to go full tackle, you ain't seeing Ashton Genty today, unless he's maybe doing this to fair catch a punt at some point. I mean, so they're doing this, and you get a chance to see Ashton and some of these guys that maybe wouldn't have played or done much at all.
You're not going to see him very much, so you better be there at the start if you want to see him.
Yes,
I wouldn't show up 20 minminutes late and think that.
And that is one of the storylines that we'll get to here over the course of the next hour or so, is the other running backs. There's been a lot of talk about Ashton Genty, but by all indications, both Breezy Dubar and Sire Gaines, the incoming freshman that just arrived in January, have both gotten rave reviews. And whether it's as your RB 2 and 3, or whether it's next year when they're potentially 1 and 2, I mean, you feel like there's Ashton's going to get the biggest chunk of the load, and you understand that. But in a game like this today, it's a good opportunity for fans to see some guys like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Bet the house on Sire Gaines and whoever's the next guy behind him,
leading the team in rushing.
Spring game MVP today. It's always,
didn't Tyler Crow do that about 3 years in a row? I think, or something.
It's always because you're going to see that guy touch the ball a lot in the second half. So
there's no doubt that room is loaded. I mean, they've done a phenomenal job just recruiting that room, and the body type is what they're looking for in this, between the speed, the power, the one-step cuts that I've seen when I've swung by practices. I mean, that's the stable is full and young. So you're going to get,
which is nothing new here. I mean, that's the way it is.
Look at anybody that's left early has never left for the 5th round or 4th round. Right. So, I mean, and they got another great one, and we'll have a lot of fun seeing them play this year.
Well, I mean, just in general, the spring game, I know scrimmage 2 was the more important scrimmage for the coaches, for the players, last Saturday. And they actually had the quarterbacks go live in that scrimmage, which Spencer was saying hasn't been done around here in a while. I don't know if that's a college football thing or just a Boise State thing.
I'd say it's generally a college football thing. I mean, there might be a couple places where the quarterback goes live here and there. I want to say it was like maybe 16, or maybe when Hank came in, he might have been live at some point, because we were still trying to figure out who we were going to go with at that point.
And sure enough, from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, and I know they scripted differently with the plays, but the offense in scrimmage 1, where they weren't live, really dominated. Then scrimmage 2, all of a sudden the quarterback's sacks are real. The numbers skewed a little more towards the defense.
Absolutely.
A couple more interceptions and things.
Game planning, they were actually treating that like a game week, probably in terms of preparation and
from installs, right? The first scrimmage, you're looking at installs 1 through 4, if I'm correct.
Yeah,
Maybe
they didn't scrimmage till a little later this year. So
Later.
it might have been like 1 through 6, probably.
So, and then scrimmage 2 is you're putting together everything that's been put or installed to the players to that point. Now they can pick and choose and create, like Rid said, more like a true game. And then now you're seeing, okay, who's absorbing information, who can think on the field, coaches are off the field. So it's on them to communicate and to talk and do all that. And that's why scrimmage 2 is always such a big deal. Evaluations on where players are at that point, especially the young guys, and are they absorbing the information, or is there a lot of mental errors coming out of that scrimmage? And that's when you got to sit back and go, okay, where are we at?
I think one thing today that'll make this a little bit maybe more of a big deal for especially the quarterbacks today. It just got approved yesterday, although Boise State's been working on it the whole spring, but is the in-helmet communication.
Yep.
So that's going to be a big deal today, where they can, keep continuing to work on that. And
especially for a huddle team.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I'm very intrigued to see this new rule is the huddle teams. That's National Football League, right? Well, let's look at what a no huddle team's going to do. You're going to talk to the quarterback, but you still got to signal the formations. And now I think it's going to be even make them play faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be a real test on defenses with this new thing. That's going to be very intriguing because, like 2 minute in the NFL and things like that, it's very quick. Yep. And so that's going to be very interesting how this goes.
We're going to bring in our special guest here in just a second. I'm going to tell you about Cutwater Spirits. More than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store, Cutwater Spirits. We also thank our title sponsor, rowpaint.com. Check them out, roepaint.com, our title sponsor. And again, there would be no Bronco Nation news without rowpaint.com. So we appreciate them for their support. And again, Idaho Central Credit Union as well. ICCU.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest right there in your pocket, the mobile e-branch online banking. So easy to use. Highly recommend Idaho Central Credit Union, and we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News. So I mentioned we're going to have some players. Parents maybe stop by and hang out, and I think the parent most people on the entire team want to hear from is Eric Nelson, the father of Malachi Nelson. Really appreciate you coming in over and hanging out for a couple minutes. How we doing?
First off, doing very, very well. Thank you so much for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege, and excited to be here.
What I don't know if we can talk about your other son being on a visit or not. I don't know what the rules are on that, but you have another son. Huh? All right. Yeah.
Well, he's over here behind us. So let's just pretend like he's not here.
All right. Wide receiver though, so maybe there's more in the family coming. But this is the first chance we've had a chance to chat with you. I've talked to you on the phone a couple times. Just since Malachi decided to come to Boise State and that whole decision, and kind of just take us through that. And then I know Bush isn't even here anymore, but just kind of why this was the spot and how things are going so far.
You know what? It was crazy. Some of the best blessings are things that you don't see, right? And having a relationship with Bush since Malachi was maybe in the 7th grade, I think that opened up the door. And Bush has been supportive of our family. And when Malachi was on visits at other places and committed to other places, Bush would always send a text. Just a really good dude, and he's been a good dude for us for a long time. And so as soon as Malachi hit the portal, Bush reached out and. First and foremost, just how you doing? What's going on? How can I, obviously Bush has been around the game a long time. If there's anything that he could do to be of support, and then that quickly lended into kind of just talking about what was going on here at Boise State, and really quickly into the conversation, coming off a championship team, the returning starters, the culture, obviously the state, the people. Those are things we're familiar with. My wife has family here, and so, there was a lot of kind of cool connections. But even then for Malachi, growing up the way he grew up and playing the game at the level that he's played at, he had some goals and some aspirations. And there were some other schools that were reaching out. And even though, he was communicating with Bush through the whole process, there was actually a couple of visits that were set up for the following week. I wanted to take the process slow.
Give us the deets here. Come on.
Well, I mean, yeah. I don't want to.
Come on, get the coach with the media.
It'll come up. But some schools that he had some relationships with in the past, and some quote unquote bigger schools, and that were offering some bigger things and those types of stuff. But Malachi's never been a kid. He's been all ball. He's a quiet introverted. He's not flashier into those types of things. It was there was the family feel that kind of got it here, but we were still looking, and there were some things in the works. But to be completely honest, Bush opened up the door, and it was Coach Spencer Danielson that closed the deal. I mean, there was no visit planned. A matter of fact, he said, after I do ABC, if I still haven't found a home, then we'll go there. I know this is good, but there's some things that I had, and it was so weird. I got on the phone with Coach G. We talked about 20 minutes, and really didn't even talk football. Just wanted to get to know each other, and talked about our faith. Obviously, it's no secret Coach Danielson, loves Jesus, and that's listen to him for a couple of times. I'm a pastor at a church in Orange County, and so we kind of connected on that, and but again, I think Jesus doesn't care too much about football. Obviously, Jesus loves the Cowboys, but that's God's team. But I don't make
lack of playoff.
Yeah, I don't make the rules, man. I don't make the rules.
Lack of playoff.
I know you would think
God in the wild card.
Yeah, they're in discipline right now, but so we just talked and wanted to see if this was a good fit, and you wanted to hear us. And I think obviously one of the things I appreciate about Coach Danielson is his protection of the locker room and the culture that he's building here, and wanted to make sure first and foremost, even if that would be a fit. And the type of kid Malachi was, obviously from the outside looking in, I think it's right or wrong we judge, and 5-star kid and USC and California, and not that he did, but he just wanted to know who he was and what he was about. And so after talking to us, I think myself, he said, man, I got to jump on the phone with Malachi. And again, one of the first things he asked Malachi was, what makes him tick? What are some of his pillars, and talk to him about his faith and just the type of kid he was. And literally 20 minutes in the conversation with Malachi, we're three-waying because we're on. I said, I'll call him right now. So they're talking. Coach Danielson said, hey, would you like to come down for a visit? And I'm thinking, oh, this is going to get ugly. How's it going to, because I'm not seeing my son face to face. He's told me, Dad, ABC, and then
he's not texting you like, oh, no, what do I do?
I'm getting ready to text him, but I'm kind of slow. I'm one of these, like, hey, buddy, like if you want me to help you out here, like I will. But he says, yeah, I'd love to come out there. And he says, when? He goes, tomorrow. Like I said, I'm on a plane. I get off the phone. I call my son. I said, are you sure? And he goes, man, it was just, obviously, I'm not telling something that hopefully nobody else doesn't know here. The guy's special, and he's a really, really special coach. He cares, the development piece, all that stuff, and it just really resonated with my son. And so we're on a plane literally the next day, and here we are.
You got fans waiting for you at the airport too. I mean, it was a big. That was even the visit, let alone the commitment, had fans super excited. Like, okay, Spencer's for real here. We got a guy that was highly ranked as he was in high school coming for a visit. I mean, you must have felt the love right away, and
yes.
and then it seemed like it was after the visit or during the visit, it was a pretty quick decision there.
It was quick. I think Malachi had, he knew. We obviously did our homework a little bit, and obviously, Bush did a good job of just laying out. 18 returning starters off a championship team. Malachi felt like, hey, if there's something that's lacking, he's always done a decent job of, kind of helping be a part of bringing guys in, and those types of things. So he knew, like, okay, hey, we can do something special. The David versus Goliath, back at our high school, back home, he went to a high school that we won 3 games the year before he got there, ended up playing on ESPN, top 25 team in the country. We were surrounded by Mater Dei and Bosco, 20 minutes on each side. And so the path that he's always taken has kind of been, not this big, flashy, sexy, but really just kind of a coach that he can resonate with. And, as big, as popular as he might be, he's really just a simple kid who just wants to grind and get better. But it's funny, the airport, we felt the love as a family, like, wow, this is a great community. Malachi, he's a different kid. Once you get to talk to him, he's quiet. He's an introverted type of a kid, kind of a humble, soft-spoken. So, he can care less about the glitz, the glam, the rah-rah. He runs from that.
I'm glad to say, is that why he had to look at deer in headlights coming through that?
Absolutely.
I was like,
absolutely.
Some fans were like, we just screwed ourselves.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this could go either way.
Yeah.
Sometimes that you gotta be like, okay, this is awesome. But if he's not that type of kid, he's like, well, now
I think he felt like, okay, well, he understands when he played quarterback at the level that he's played quarterback, he understands too much is given, much is required. And he understands that there's certain things that he needs to do. But for him on this trip, it was all business. And he was just like, okay, cool. Like, this is great. But even, I think what makes him great, he throws a touchdown, you're going to see him give the same expression if he throws an interception.
Absolutely.
He's just an even kill kid, and he doesn't get too up, he doesn't get too down. But the deer in the headlights, we were getting off the plane. My wife had to use the restroom, and security came over. And they were like, Boise State fans, and Malachi was like, what in the world is going on? It's midnight. And so it's cool, and it's a blessing. But that day I remember he was just like, whoa. And Bush texted me, he's like, yeah, we got some issues over here. And so, yeah, it was fun.
Well, and BJ kind of hit on it, but, Bush left and made a decision for him and his family. And, certainly all of us in the coaching profession kind of get that. And
do you?
But
I'm just kidding.
It's a tough situation, but because it's great that you had a relationship with Coach D, so you knew that he would do something to replace him with the right kind of person to help Malachi develop. And then you all of a sudden you get Dirk Cutter.
Yeah.
How you kind of said it, sometimes the blessings that you don't see.
Yeah.
Bush is obviously a good friend of mine, and I've coached with Bush a couple times, and he's tremendous, but
he really is.
You get to replace him with probably the best in the business.
Yeah, you gotta. Coach Danielson, the head coach, we had to, anytime throughout the recruitment process, it's the head coach, right? I was in the Navy. My recruiter told me I was going to be a pilot. And when I got there, I'm just kidding, but you want to hear from the head coach, and you want to be able to develop that relationship. So, but we were really excited about Bush's offense, Bush's development, because he had been in the NFL. And so when that happened, I remember I was actually coaching a football team. We were doing a 7-on-7 tournament. Coach Bush called me and said, hey, I just want you to know before it hits the fan.
That's good.
And my whole thing is, like, I love to see people win. There's not an ounce of hate in my blood at all. For him, for his family, and all those different things, like, I can't be mad. He obviously thought through it. If he thinks this is a good decision, I'm going to be a cheerleader, and I'm going to say, hey, man, go win, go be great. And if that's so, I was not worried or upset at Bush at all, but at the same time, a little concerned, like, wow, Coach Danielson, obviously from his leadership standpoint, he said, this is a great job. We're going to get, someone better. And at the time, our relationship's just getting started. So I was like, wow, okay, it's kind of late. We're going to see. And yeah, so to receive Coach Cutter, who's, obviously, we came for NFL development, and now to have a 15-year veteran and a lot of mutual friends, back home. Malachi works out, and he knows Deshaun Jackson pretty well, who played for him, and just a bunch of different guys. I talked to Akili Smith, who was with him at Oregon. Just everyone speaks highly of the guy, and Malachi loves it. He's a straight shooter, open and honest, all those things.
Yeah. We're visiting for a couple more minutes with Eric Nelson, the father of Malachi Nelson, going to be all eyes. I can't think of, aside from maybe Ashton Genty, I think fans are super excited to see your son out there today. And I'll tell you what, from practice 1 to practice, I guess 13 was the last one, or 14 that we saw, the improvement. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm a media guy standing on the side, and there's a lot more to it, but the improvement he's made in the last month, even grasping this offense and stuff. I mean, the first practice or two, there was some fumbled snaps and just basic stuff. You could tell he was a little nervous, whatever.
Sure.
The last couple practices, he's been just threading needles and throwing dimes. I mean, tell the fans about Malachi the player and just his competitiveness. And I know there's 3 guys that all think they should be starting that first game, so who knows how it's going to shake out. But sure. Just what is Boise State? What are these fans getting in terms of Malachi Nelson?
You're going to get a smart kid. He plays with his head, right? There's a lot of my younger son over there. He plays with his heart. He's a beat my chest guy. He's a run, gets up, spin it, look at the DB that he just, he's all emotion. He's a typical wideout. Yeah. Yeah. He's all heart, hustle. He's all those different types of things. Malachi plays cerebral. And so he's obviously, he's a gifted athlete. People may not understand that, but I mean, he's, we were just at the facility right now. They're like, wow, he took off and ran. And, he's a 36-inch vertical guy, twitchy, sub-4. I mean, he's an athlete, but he's a throw first guy. And once he understands, because he's a kid, there's got to be a period at the end of every sentence. Some quarterbacks love the flexibility, and I just need to know, check one, I'm going to let the name on the back of my jersey take over. Malachi has the ability to create and to be creative. And, Coach Cutter talked about the off platform. He can do all those types of things, but he wants to know the system. And once he knows the system, then he feels capable and he feels a freedom to create. And so with him, you're getting a guy who's gonna, he's always gonna do the right thing. He's a good kid. I'm not just saying that because he's my dad, but he's not out drinking, smoking, joking. He's dedicated to his craft. He's dedicated to his team. He's dedicated to his family. He's just a heck of a football player, competitive, internally competitive, driven. The pressure, he loves it. He craves it. He feeds off of that. He wants to be great. He knows to be great. Pressure either busts pipes or it makes diamonds, and he loves being in pressure situations. I hate watching my son play quarterback. I mean, I don't know these quarterback dads. They love it. It takes years off my life. This guy right here might be a better quarterback. Could have been great. But I said, I'm not doing it. My life expectancy goes down. There's only one good thing that can happen every time you drop back. That's a completed pass. There's 50 bad things that can happen. And that's not fun.
And it all comes on you.
Exactly.
Too much credit.
And the line coach.
And the line coach.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They love Brad. They love Brad.
Yeah. So yeah, you're getting a good kid, man. You're getting an athlete who's going to study, who's going to do the classroom, do the film, do the prep work, and then once the play breaks down, he has an ability to do some special stuff.
And the other thing which I love that you hit on, and I love this place, coached here, all that. Boise hasn't seen a whole lot of 5-star kids run through here, right? I think within the first comment you made is development, and that's exciting because 5-star kids got to be developed.
Sure.
You just don't step on a campus and start throwing dimes.
Absolutely.
Or you got to get developed within an offense. And that's what's important for the Boise State fans to hear is development, because you're not going to roll off 6,000 yards the first year and 27 touchdowns and 0 interceptions.
Yep.
You have to be developed. And I think that is unbelievable to hear how he wants to be developed, because he wants to go to the National Football League, where we got a 5-star kid. Yeah. I mean, he came out of the womb with a quarterback and the ball in his arm. He's just throwing 9 routes on time and perfect.
And he might be the first. I think he might be the first and only former 5-star high school player that's been here.
And you come in here, he throws a pick. It's okay. Yep. He's even keeled. Next play is next play.
Yep.
Right. And it's so awesome to hear that needs to happen.
And who better from Coach Cutter, right?
Yeah,
and so on the field, Coach Cutter, on the field, Coach D, but off the field, Coach D as well. They go to church. I mean, I couldn't be more happy obviously my job as a father is to raise men, and at some point he's going to stop playing football. And so he's getting raised up as a football player and as a man. You couldn't ask for better. He hasn't been, from a football standpoint, Gatorade Player of the Year is a sophomore.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Right. So then he comes in junior, senior year. So when you talk about development, like Coach Cutter is very, he's the one, right? And he tells you how it is and he pushes. So from high school, a guy of that level, and again, his high school coaches are amazing, man, phenomenal guys, did a great job. Gets to college, he has an injury, so he doesn't get a lot of development. So in his eyes, he always tells Coach Cutter, I want to be coached. I want to be coached. Put your foot in my, you know what I mean? Like whatever you got to do.
And it's unbelievable the difference in offenses where he was at SC, which is
couldn't be completely different.
There's aspects of run and shoot.
Yeah.
There's it's no huddle.
Run to grass, right? There's so much creativity within
there's no doubt
that, where a pro style, boom, 3 hitch on time, throw to a spot. And there's none of that. Like there's this, so we don't want to get too nerdy, but like most of this stuff is post snap. A lot of that's pre snap. You come in, you check the depth, the eyes, and the alignment of the guys. You already know where the grass is going to be open. Yeah,
rotations.
So it's exciting. I couldn't be, but again, to learn that and to grow in that. He hasn't been under center. We were at dinner yesterday. Last time we took a snap under center was like 5th grade playing for me.
But it just helps in the next level.
Oh,
you get the opportunity to get there, and you can't put the cart before the horse either.
Yeah,
but it just helps overall development. And then I'll go back. I'm a huge Danielson guy. I love the guy.
Yeah.
But you also handed off your son to a program where he's going to get developed by Coach Cutter football, and Coach D's going to make sure he's doing the right things and building his faith, if that's what it is, or building his NIL, whatever the brand. That's going to be important.
Yeah.
And it's important to Coach Danielson. And that's how important it is when we were actually talking about it, because we're good friends, and Bush is leaving, and I'm like, no, it ain't going to affect Malachi, because Danielson's going to step in, and the trust is going to be built at some point. Like, he's going to hire the right guy for my son.
And we're I was a military guy. My faith it was hard for us to leave, and man, we we are here. We're so excited to be here. The community, the nicest people in the world, the nicest place. We love the school, the program, the opportunity that we have to do something special. And, when Malachi's time is done here, obviously, his goal would be to have 2 great years and win 2 great championships. And, hear his name called on the first day in the first round in the top 10. But if it's 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, to leave this place, in a better place than he found it, and to be just a small piece of the rich Bronco history. I mean, that's exciting. It's exciting for him, and it's exciting for us. So we're pumped up.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by.
You kicking me out?
No, you stay as long as you want. But a lot of the comments, Max says if Malachi's anything like his dad, we're going to be just fine. A lot of people are enjoying the comments and having you on. And you mentioned the city of Boise. This is what, your second time here then, or?
Yes. So the official visit was the first time, and this is our this is our
a little better weather. A little better weather this time.
Well, it's funny. So we get on the plane, and what a couple of Malachi's things were. The first one was he wanted to. He didn't know anything about Boise. He didn't know. He grew up in Orange County. Not that he's like a big city kid, but he just didn't know what the city was like. And in his mind, didn't know what to expect. And then everyone kept telling him, oh, it's cold, it's cold, it's cold. And he didn't know how cold. So we're so thankful that we got to see it. Everyone's like, oh, it never snows at Boise. It never snows at his first 2 weeks. They're like, oh, this is record breaking. This is record. Yeah. And so he would say, Dad, it's not that cold. And
it's
then,
really not. The winters here kind of overplayed a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I remember our first night in the hotel, we opened up and we looked out and we saw like a skyline. It's like, oh, he's like, oh, this is a real city. And I'm like, yeah, it's like, it's not as small as I thought it was going to be.
It's not Laramie.
I was thinking the same thing. It's not Laramie.
It's not Laramie. Yeah.
But the other thing is people always say it's too cold in Boise. It's okay. What's your goal?
Yeah.
I want to play National Football League. Oh. So what happens when the Green Bay Packers call your name? And it's negative 40 and you're in the wild card, or Buffalo or Minnesota wants to go to an outdoor stadium.
Yeah.
I'm a little disappointed he didn't know a little bit more about Boise, though, with the long Los Al line that's been through here.
He knew that.
He had a connection to Orlando.
He picked Orlando up from the airport, actually, yesterday. Yeah, he picked Orlando up.
I got to meet Malachi, actually, when I was still recruiting Orange County. Before his freshman year, he was out there watching Los Al practice.
Yep.
And, somebody was like, yeah, that's the best. That'll be the best freshman quarterback in the country. I'm like, really? Okay. And then I saw him throw, and I was like, yeah, probably is.
Yeah, he might be. Yeah, no, he knew about the school, right? The Statue of Liberty, the engagement. I mean, everyone knows about that. I think it was more about the city. He's a culture community guy. But yeah, so no, that's funny.
And you already got the jerseys too.
Yeah, I don't know where. It's funny. My wife keeps us pretty dolled up and connected. But when you talk about development, even him, I am so excited that my son moved away from us.
Good.
I'm so excited. I mean, I tell him every day, you are going to be such a better man. Like, you're on your own. You just got a place. You're buying furniture. You know what I mean? Like, you're figuring this out on your own.
Becoming a man.
Yeah, and it's so great.
I mean, he's from Iowa. He took off to Oregon State. Yeah. I'm from California. Yeah. I took off to Colorado. I think it helps you. You're ready. And I didn't move back home.
Yep.
I didn't do any of that. And so I think it's a great example of. Well, it also takes maturity.
It does.
Because you went to Green Bay.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I went to I started in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So, but it's a testament to him and his maturity at that age.
They're even saying that you're saying the word, you're saying it correctly. Boise.
Yeah.
You even learned that. You even got it.
I'm a quick study. Did our homework. I got the scouting report.
Well, we do. I mean, we could go 3 hours with you. We got a couple other guests, and also, want to let you get back with your family and stuff. But you walked over here. We appreciate it, and looking forward. It's going to be a fun year, regardless of how it plays out here. But like I said, I don't know what I'm looking at, but if the improvement I saw in the last month continues over the summer and into the fall, I mean, he's got a great chance to be out there on Saturdays. It's going to be.
There's no question. Dirk will have a plan for it to continue. It won't be just like, hey, we'll see you in August.
Yeah, off the air you should get some more talking to these guys about Dirk and stuff, because they both know him really well. But awesome. Thanks so much for coming. I'm sure we'll see you again. Maybe the first home game we do this again. You come back for the first home game, we'll be over here. We get you back on. So
anytime. I'm so thankful and just humbled. I'm a big fan ever since we came down the first time. seen you guys and kind of lifeline back home. Yeah, we're all in. We're all in.
He told when he first when Malachi first committed, I called him and he's probably like, how did the media get my number or whatever. Real nice conversation, but wasn't quite ready to do an interview or talk about it. So yesterday he reached out saying he was in town and would love to meet up. And so I took a shot. I was like, any chance we can get that interview? He's like, let's do it. So I was like, all right, he watched enough of our shows to know that we're not half bad here, but we're looking forward to it, man. It's awesome. We haven't got the chance to talk to him. They have the first semester rule where first semester on campus, they kind of just let you focus on school, everything else. And they do a little media training, whatever. But hopefully at some point the summer or the fall, we'll get a chance to talk to him as well. But enjoy the rest of your trip, man.
We'll do.
We really appreciate it. There he is, Eric Nelson. We appreciate him for joining us. Again, thanks to some of our sponsors, Ridley's Family Markets, shopridleys.com, multiple locations across the state of Idaho. And again, we appreciate our friends at Ridley's Family Markets, 13 locations, shopridleys.com. You can check them out at Ridley's Family Markets. Bauscher Real Estate, we appreciate him as well. And again, we got more special guests. We got Grant Hedrick coming up, John Mallory, Mike Prater. We're having a lot of fun here on the Bronco Nation News Lithia Ford of Boise pregame show. Bauscher Real Estate. Appreciate Bauscher Real Estate. Appreciate Matt Bauscher and his team. Why don't you go tell Johnny to pop on? They can talk to Mr. Nelson for a few minutes, maybe. He's inside, I think. Bauscher Real Estate, bauscherrealestate.com. Check them out. Again, we have bought our house and sold our house through Matt, and he did a tremendous job, and we're very appreciative of him. Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. Check them out, Lithia Ford Boise. View their full inventory of vehicles online. You can do that at lithiafordboise.com, and they are the title sponsor here. You can do what the Rains family did. We purchased our vehicle from Lithia Ford. We looked online, saw the vehicle that we wanted, and made our purchase. It was very easy. So check them out, lithiafordboise.com. We're very appreciative of them. Taco Bell, tacobellworks.com. They are hiring. So check them out, tacobellworks.com. And we appreciate Taco Bell Works for their support of Bronco Nation News. And again, SON Management, the Nicolason family. They're hiring. So if you need a job, check them out. TacoBellWorks.com and the SON Management Group. We appreciate them. The Blue and Orange Store. You need some gear? Check out the BlueandOrangeStore.com. The Blue and Orange Store. The BlueandOrangeStore.com. And the BlueandOrangeStore.com has T-shirts, hats, jerseys, all kinds of great stuff at the Blue and Orange Store, and make sure they got some great gear. Make sure you check them out, whether it's jerseys, caps, bumper stickers, you name it. They got it at the Blue and Orange Store, and we appreciate them. Transportation Compliance Service, transcompservice.com. Check them out. And if you're looking for a job, and again, our live coverage will continue here momentarily. We'll check transcompservice.com. You can get into the trucking industry, and they can help you every step of the way. We highly recommend the folks at Transportation Compliance Service. We only have a couple of foursomes left, by the way, as we get set for our next guest. If you want to play May 31st, the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament, 3rd annual tournament. Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. We're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. May 31st is the date. May 31st is the date out at Timberstone. May 31st, Timberstone Golf Course, and we highly hope folks will take advantage of that. We only have like three foursomes left in the morning. We got some afternoon foursomes available as well. So appreciate everybody for signing up that has, and if you haven't signed up yet, we look forward to that. Oh, we got our title sponsor. Come here, Andy. Andy, come on. We'll put Andy right on. We got our title sponsor in the house. When the title sponsor stops by, we put him on right away. Have a seat for a second here, Andy. How we doing, man? And yeah. Drink in hand. That's how we like it, man. Our title sponsor had to bring you on for a minute here, and John Mallory can have a seat too. We got Grant Hedrick. Give us 2 minutes, guys. Maybe 3. Yeah, we got a lot of former players here, fans, everybody hanging out. Andy Rowe, you've built an empire with rowpaint.com, man. And I say it all the time, there would be no B&N without you and Rowe Painting. But, man, we just did finish the interior painting of our home, got it ready to sell for us. And I've now – oh, I had you muted there. Sorry. Let's see. You're mic 3, I believe. Try that one. Yep.
Test,
There you
Prestige Worldwide.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. You did a great job. Team did an awesome job. And I've now had the concrete floor done twice. I've had the interior painting. Man, you guys got it going over there at rowpaint.com, man.
We'll go buy a new house and we'll fix that one up too. We got to start all over.
Yeah, we're close to that. We are close to that. We already saw the slab out in the back, although it's a pretty big one. So we'll have to maybe up your deal or something to get that done. But what do we got going on with row painting, man? It's springtime.
Busy. Springtime. We're just out chasing it like we always do. And, commercial, residential, our concrete coatings, our log cabin restoration division. Just really, really busy right now.
And the concrete coatings, man, you guys do it differerly. It's way different, stronger than some of the other competition out there, and it's the best in the business, man.
Yeah, I mean, what people probably don't know is there's a lot of companies doing that now on the residential level, but we actually have done this for a long time industrially. So, we've coated pads that you've got, 20-ton mining trucks getting serviced over the top of. So our process is a little bit more refined, a little bit different, definitely stronger because of the products that we have that we work with. So we can definitely handle a patio where your furniture is going to be, or a garage where your truck or car is going to be parked. But yeah, we appreciate you supporting us and all that you do. We do a lot of that this time of year. A lot of people don't know they can do their patios or pool decks.
In one day.
In one day, every situation is different depending on how it's laid out, which process you choose. So sometimes it'll be a 2-day process, but it's very quick and you're back in service very, very quickly.
And I know you've been a Boise State fan for a long time, man. What's your excitement level for the football season coming up here?
Oh, man, we got a spring day. The weather is beautiful today. We're going to get to see some of the new players we haven't seen before.
We got to introduce you to Malachi Nelson's dad right here.
I was
Eric
listening
Nelson.
on the drive over.
Yeah.
It was great. Great interview. Great to hear from him. And obviously that's exciting. You think about all the moving parts, Bush leaving, Cutter coming in, and how that affects, someone like Malachi who made a decision to come here based on a relationship. I get that. And so, but I think what people do is just like in life or business, you make a decision, you go with it, you give it your full support, and here we go,
ROEpaint.com. The jingle, the commercials. Again, interior, exterior painting, whether it's the concrete coatings. I mean, they can take care of all your painting needs. Very, competitive rates and a great trained staff. Are you guys still hiring too? You looking for any more painters?
Oh yeah, we're always looking for the best of the best. We got a really great group, and we have low turnover because of our reputation and taking care of our people. We do a lot of great benefits for our guys and gals. We have paid paternal leave, maternal leave. We make sure that our people are very well taken care of. So if you're looking for a career, looking for a good team to join, put an application in, come meet us, see if it's a good fit.
Well, this thing only works at Bronco Nation News because of the sponsors and folks like Andy. So please, next time you're looking to spruce up that garage, you got that ugly looking slab with the oil on it or whatever, let your back patio, your basement, let Andy and his team take care of you on the concrete coatings and obviously the interior, exterior painting of your home or all your painting needs. You're watching a free show right now thanks to folks like Andy. So please support the sponsors. Please support rowpaint.com. And Andy, truly appreciate you for stopping by, man. And it's a beautiful day and should be fun today, man.
Support all that you do and go Broncos.
Appreciate you, man. There he is, Andy Rowe. We appreciate him at Rowe Painting. Our next guest is going to join us here shortly. I think I saw Grant Hedrick, and tell Johnny and Grant we're ready for him if they want to come on, and we'll leave a spot for Kent Riddle as well. But having fun. You never know who's going to kind of Andy, somebody said you look like Conor McGregor. Look like what? Conor McGregor. You going to take that? You'll take that. We got some more guys getting ready to slide in here. We'll get the camera back. It's a live stream. We're at the James. Everybody's talking, having a good time, so you never know who you're going to see and when. So bear with us here for just a second. But, again, if you got a comment, a question in as we switch over to the seating and things here, let us know. We're having fun. We don't know who's going to stop by or what's going to happen here. But what a day. Beautiful day. We're down here for the spring game, having a lot of fun. Boise State football. It's going to be a fun season, fun day. And don't know the uniform combos for the spring game yet. Somebody just asked, did ball game leave any Gatorade for the spring game today? Hopefully so. That was a joke, by the way. Ashton Genty did not run out of Gatorade because Johnny was having three cups. That didn't actually happen. So that part's not true. But you see Mr. Nelson holding court. We would have John Mallory, but you see John Mallory is over here talking to Malachi Nelson's dad. So you see on the right side of the screen there. So if we can get if we can get some of our paid help to actually sit down and do the show here, that would be nice. But they're all doing different things, and now we have Malachi Nelson meeting Grant Hedrick. So we have a quarterback's dad meeting a quarterback that won a Fiesta Bowl here at Boise State. And John Mallory is going to have a seat and join us here. John, you can sit right there if you want. Grant's going to join us. We need to get Kent Riddle in with Grant, though, right?
What's going on, brother? I'll just stall real quick. Grant's just meeting some people, taking some pictures, signing some autographs.
It's a fun, beautiful day, man.
It's a great atmosphere out here. I know Grant Hedrick's being, there's three of those type of legends, and that is being a Fiesta Bowl winning quarterback in Boise, Idaho, right, BJ? You got Z, you got Kellen, and you got Grant Hedrick. I mean, that's the list. That's the club. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Grant should ever have to pick up a check at any restaurant in this town. I'm talking ever, man. He should have a pass.
We need to have Kent
So
Riddle
warm the seat up for him. I'm out.
You're out. That was it. All right. You're out.
Johnny.
Johnny's out. We can sub it around here. Come on, have a seat. Come on, Brad. We'll get the whole crew back in here. I'm going to just let Kent Riddle probably handle most of this one here. Grant Hedrick. Tell us about Grant Hedrick and what he was in 2014, obviously, as Fiesta Bowl winning quarterback. One of three in the club.
A rock star. I think really still one of the most efficient quarterback seasons in Boise State history. And Grant can probably tell you, but going through a coaching change, a little bit like these guys are going through now. I think it's not necessarily like totally different. I think it all comes from the same tree, but sometimes you get new life in that stuff. Sorry, my son just waving at me. But you kind of get new life, and you get a breath of fresh air, and no expectations, and you get to go out there. And Grant just really from the time we first got here in January or whatever, was a leader. Did a great job just rallying the team and kind of getting everything going. And had a tremendous season. And there were a couple of those games he won them for us. I think the Fiesta Bowl really comes to mind, some of the big plays he made in that. And obviously a tremendous teammate and a guy that, not a huge accolade guy, but probably making him uncomfortable right now. But but no, that was a fun year. And, I think one of the turning points in that year is we lose to Air Force, and it was not a good game in any way, shape, or form. But the next day, like Coach Harsh comes in and he's like, "Hey, we're just going to have fun. Like, let's have fun." And, the guys really embraced it. Grant really kind of took leadership and ownership of that. And, we were fortunate. We had a really good defense and a good running game, and then a guy that can make plays at quarterback. And I think the rest is history. So, yeah. But Grant,
how you doing, Grant?
Yeah. How are you doing? And what are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah. Now I'm a high school teacher and coach. So I'm getting my football fix just at a little different level, and get to see my family actually, and so I'm loving that. I was in law enforcement for 6 years, and made the change. So I've been a teacher. This is my third year doing that. So
what subject?
Loving that. PE and health. So it's the best. Like
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm in the weight room, and then we're, badminton, pickleball.
Is it really teaching?
It's pretty nice. Like I show up to work like this, like in sweats. Like it's pretty nice. So
we've moved on from high school coaches, the 3 R's though, right? Roll call, roll out the ball.
Yeah, it's a little different, but it's pretty good. It's a good gig. So yeah, things are good. It's good to be back. Haven't been to a spring game since I was here. So
how many games? How often do you make it back?
I think I've made it to, when Boise State played Oregon State in 2016 in Corvallis, went to that game because that's 20 minutes from my house.
Okay.
Then I've been back to one home game. It was a few years ago, like pre-COVID, I think. So yeah, don't get back as much as I want to, but we have our high school seasons obviously kind of right at the same time. So it's tough, but
as a Fiesta Bowl winning quarterback, do you have to pay for a drink in this place, or?
We'll see. Well, I'm kind of unassuming. Like I walk in, it's like I look like a normal guy. So yeah.
I can announce
Andy Rowan.
No, I like it. Let's lay in the weeds. We're good. We're good.
What do you make of your alma mater and just the was a crazy year last year, and then there's a lot of excitement for the playoff this year. I know you just met Malachi Nelson's dad. What's just your take on the current state of the program here?
I think it's exciting. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of like that 2014 season where it's the same like brand of football, I think, and it's just maybe a breath of fresh air, like Coach Riddle was saying. It's like I think maybe it needs that a little bit, but there's definitely a lot of excitement around here. You can feel it. I think the 12-team playoff is going to be a cool opportunity, very much like 2014 when they opened up the New Year's Six games, right? So they took the highest power or a group of 5 team to that, and we were fortunate enough to make that. So I think there's definitely a lot of hype and excitement, and just got to roll with it. But at the end of the day, just go win some games. That's really all that matters.
It's it'll be an exciting season. And, I think Boise State, obviously they're not quite done with spring ball yet, but having not really been affected by the portal in a negative way. But then you look at some of the teams that were looking to be tough opponents in Oregon State, Washington State, they've been hit hard by the portal.
Yeah.
So,
well, there's 2 weeks left. I hate to say it.
No question. Absolutely. And that's, I would 100% expect a guy or two to jump into the portal. I would think maybe even those guys are guys that, are coming to the realization of this probably isn't my place or my time.
And
so
I was just going to say, you're the kind of guy, Grant, too, that, you waited your time to get your spot there. And nowadays, if you wouldn't have had to sit out a year, you might have been a guy that said, heck with this, I'm going back somewhere else. And the NIL money as well that may have come with being a starting quarterback here. Do you kind of look at where the game now compared to when you played, which doesn't feel that long ago, but almost 10 years now?
Yeah. I mean, a lot has changed in 10 years for sure. It's a totally different deal. I mean, coaches have to essentially recruit your own guys now. And I mean, it's insane, but I was fortunate enough that wasn't really an option, and I never even thought of it. Just kind of wait your turn, work hard, and you're going to get an opportunity. I think even now more than ever, like that's super true. Like I think if the amount of guys that leave and transfer out, like if you just stick it out at one place and work hard, you're probably going to get a shot at some point.
Come out ahead in the long run, right? Yeah. And hey, there's no you can't blame guys, for some of this money they're throwing around. I mean, it's ridiculous. And, you might never have a chance to make that again in your life if you don't believe you're a future pro player, so it's hard to blame guys, but I'm with you. If you just stick it out, you probably come out ahead in the end.
Through that, we're ruining college football.
Yes, absolutely.
So I almost dropped it, BJ, but I didn't. But
you can say whatever you want, man.
Through all that, but do you agree? Like, I don't know what high school you're at, right? Do you guys have some guys in Division I football?
No, I mean, not really.
Okay.
Yeah, but there's some teams that will play that do.
So do you talk to those coaches?
A little bit.
So do you have any insight? I mean, do you talk to them about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a different game. I mean, it's totally different.
I think some people that are listening to this would like to hear from, in that high school coaching realm, how the amount of schools that the tampering or something like that, they'll call the coach and go, hey, is this guy going to jump in the portal?
Yeah.
And it's not, I mean, they'll wait your turn or go to one spot and build a tradition that this place, that stadium, that everything's been built on, is we're looking at it being dismantled.
Yeah.
And I grew up in that same area. You had to sit. You had to sit. And when I got to Colorado, during recruiting, they promise you the world.
Yeah.
Right. That's the other difference. They still promise you the world. Right. Then you get there and you're like, wait a minute, you promised me I'm fifth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I was pissed. I'm sure you weren't very happy either. But then all of a sudden,
Coach Pete was probably pretty honest about it.
He was. Well, we had a guy, Kellen Moore, who's pretty good too. I kind of knew. I saw the writing on the wall there for a little bit.
Fair. But you also call home.
Yeah.
And home, and at least, and I don't know your background. My dad's like, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
He's like, this is where you went. You chose this, so why don't you fight for it and go win something rather than just quit?
Yeah.
Essentially, that's where we're going to.
Yeah, I don't like the transferring because you don't win the starting job. I think there are some circumstances
agreed
that are, I think every situation's different. And I think during certain moments, okay, it's appropriate to leave. But if you're mad because you didn't win the starting job and you're going to leave, I don't like that at
Absolutely.
all.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
I think that's kind of ruining
I think
it.
that's as good as I've heard it put. Like every situation's different and you don't necessarily know what's going on, but to leave solely because you're not the starter, like the chances of that working out at the next place, I don't know how well that's going to work there either.
Yeah.
Especially with the portal right now, it's 25%. The guys that just jumped into their university and they've only been there for 2 months. And so essentially they went on a 3-month spring ball tryout and they said, well, you're not as good as we thought you were. Oh, I'm leaving. Right.
Yeah.
And all this, so now it's free agency. I mean, that's the one thing is like, you got to go in and compete.
Yep.
If you don't compete, you're going to lose. And any program that doesn't compete isn't going to win anyway.
Yeah.
And without people staying and competing, you're not going to get your program better. And that's what Boise State's lived off of, and it's been very successful. And just and if you can keep that, you're going to continue to be successful.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's all about developing players, and it's hard to develop when guys are moving around so much.
Yeah, if you think about that, like if you know you're transferring, like how hard are you really working in the off-season program? If you miss part of spring ball, you miss all that time you miss, you're losing development time. Even if it's as simple as watching film or sitting there talking with the coach about while watching film, and especially at the quarterback position, how much that plays into your development, your ability to produce when you have the opportunities. I mean, that's why some of these places are struggling a little bit because there's no development. It's just next guy. And hey, maybe you hit the lottery and one of those guys works out for you, but it's kind of showing not to in more instances than not. So,
or like the culture of your program, which you guys stood on, especially that year.
Yeah.
Right. The culture so if you're leaving, you're not contributing to the culture of your football program.
Right.
I mean, would you as a quarterback? It's like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that word culture gets thrown around so much, what does that actually mean? I think at least when I was here, with Coach Pete and then Hars was around that too. And Coach Red, you guys, I mean, it was different, it felt different. It was like, you didn't just talk about it, you walked the walk.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a big difference where a lot of places
really how you do things.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time, every day.
Yep.
So
absolutely.
Changing it up a little bit here, but since we are spring game day, so as a quarterback, you hadn't played a ton, but you'd played a little bit. So I think we probably let you play a full half.
Yeah.
But you kind of know, like at some point the reps are going to be limited. So just talk about your preparation going into like today and your mindset and what that is, whether you might be on a pitch count or you might be able to go a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Way, but it's
kind of weird. Spring games are kind of interesting. Like I remember my prep for it probably wasn't the best, like in terms of, in relation to like an actual game. Like you want to practice like you play, but it's just different, and like maybe you're going to get a limited amount of reps and
day one install.
Yeah. It's a good opportunity to get a lot of guys some playing time on some real life situations to see what they can do. And I needed that too. Like I wasn't like that experienced going into that senior year in that spring game. So I needed more live reps. That helped me. So you obviously got to take it serious, but understanding like, we're going to be very vanilla on offense, vanilla on defense, not going to show a bunch. Let's just try to be as productive as we can, get better. And, but it's different, and I think even like Ole Miss don't even have a spring game. They went away with it. Like it's like a dunk contest and you're seeing that kind of go away a little bit.
Turn to recruiting rather than the game.
Yeah.
No,
it's, the things you can control, though, I think are probably what everybody's focusing on, right? Like coming out there, the efficiency of the plays, just doing what's asked to be done. Taking the right footwork, getting the ball out on time, all that kind of stuff. And
operating,
there probably are going to be, substitution, like making sure we got the right personnel out there, everybody paying attention. And trust me, that'll get like in the middle of the second quarter.
Somebody will have 10 on the field.
Yeah.
Or 12.
You said I was done. Like, what could you tell, pass that along? Or,
yeah. Exactly.
But,
special teams night.
Yeah. Oh, I used to have brown hair with like spring games, like just make sure we have 11. The rest of it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But that's probably the things you're thinking about, right? How to just execute your technique, your assignment, that sort of thing.
It's all about operation. But how was it as a coach, like preparing for that?
It was kind of a nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the special teams part for sure, just trying to make sure and it's always the scout guys, right? Because they get, somebody's pulling them in 8 different directions. And, well, I was over here talking to this guy, didn't you're like, okay. Or, yeah, coach said I'm done. Well, nobody told me you were done. So, that kind of stuff. But that aside, like all you're really hoping to see is guys like communicate well, be able to function within their assignment and technique, execute that to the best of their ability. And then you want to see them compete. Yeah, you want to see guys flying around, and even if it's not full on live tackling, like you'd like to see guys sprinting to the ball, or competing for a jump ball, or whatever. But yeah, and then at the end of it, you're just kind of holding on, just like, all right, we're good. Nobody's hurt. Like, and there were times Harse just blew it. Like, hey, nobody's hurt. Like, we're done.
We're done. I think the hardest thing is the pitch count.
Yeah.
Either way, offensively, 2 positions, wide receiver and O-line.
Yeah.
Because you pull your left tackle, your backup left tackle, who's your swing guy, you're going to need in the season.
Right.
So now your left guard's going to left tackle, or your X is going to go to him, and he ain't running the right route. And so because they don't have a whole lot of reps in that position, but you're just trying to get through it.
Yep. A lot of moving pieces.
With
the pitch count. It's tough.
It's hard. It's really it's
and that's
hard.
why it wouldn't surprise me at some point in the second half if all of a sudden you look up and it's like, hey, they haven't stopped the clock in like
no,
8
it'll be
minutes.
a running clock. They told us it's going to go a little faster than a normal spring game.
Yeah,
probably, but before we let Grant go, any good stories from 2014? Any good behind the scenes stuff for fans here?
I actually do have one that
Okay.
was a critical deal. So San Diego State, right? And we had practiced whatever play that was. It's kind of a dash QB run play, only one direction.
Yeah.
And we called timeout, and it was like 3rd and 6 maybe, or something like that. Maybe it was probably too far to kick a field goal and couldn't quite do it. Maybe score-wise either, it didn't help us. But we're like, all right, well, we got the play, but we're on the wrong hash. Can we flip this over? And Grant's like, yeah, we got that. And, a couple other guys that were involved in the play were like, yeah, we can do that. And it's like, all right, let's do it. So we go out there, and Grant, kind of drops back, sucks him in. We pin the corner, and around the edge goes Grant for – did you score on that play?
I think so. Yeah,
I think so.
Late in the game.
Yeah.
God, that was a cold game. Holy
Oh, that was freezing.
Was that the one where you guys were down big at halftime or something?
Yeah, we were down like 20
to nothing or something crazy.
And we thought we were tough. We come out no shirts on in pregame, and San Diego State rolling in here. It's like 6 degrees.
And jump all over us.
Yeah, shout out Jeff Pittman.
But apparently we should have just stayed
and
warm.
They kicked our butt for the first half.
Yeah.
Was that the game where Spurbeck came on with us at one of the football games, and Sanford was talking about some play they kept gashing on? You guys kept getting
chair. Yep. Chair, and Grant threw a couple good balls to Thomas for touchdowns.
Yeah, I get a little too much credit for that season, man. There were some good guys on that team. And then we had a pretty good running back.
Jay,
when you can run the ball
down there, I still remember him snapping that linebacker's head back at the goal line.
Oh, didn't he almost rush for 200 yards in the second half?
Yeah, it was
crazy.
It was good. Santini had a fake punt, and he got things going.
Special teams.
But that was a. Again, just a tribute to Grant, like, hey, we got this. And he kind of made sure everybody's on the same page. And, because that's not easy, right? I mean, when we go out there and we have all these one-way plays.
Yeah, it's like, designed for certain hash, certain landmark of the field. And
I heard Harson was even more specific than most, but it had to be the 38-yard line on the right hash on 3rd down in less than 5, and it has to be even number on the clock and all this.
And there's a reason that stuff works, though.
Yep, statue left's only like certain yard line, left hash, rat tail's only one way.
And there's some of those it completely makes sense because of the ball handling, but a lot of them you practice one way because you just don't have time to rep them both ways. You just run out of plays. So, but that was a huge one, and I seriously, I give Grant a tremendous amount of credit for that. He might have a different story, but behind the scenes.
Any good Rid? What was Rid like as a coach?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was great. I feel like it was like having. It reminded me a lot of like my dad on staff. Like just always
this means I'm old.
Consistent. No, it didn't mean that. Just consistent. Like always had your back. The true like players coach, and I didn't play any special teams. But like
completely tried you out as a holder.
Yeah, I think I was like 3rd string holder or something. I think I messed up on purpose so I didn't have to do it.
Wise
couple pooch kicks though, right? We had I had that in, so it was good. But yeah, awesome year. A lot of good guys.
We appreciate you stopping by, man. You're in that elusive club that I know Boise State fans would like to add a fourth or fifth member to at some point here soon. But
Closing in on it.
Appreciate you, man. Best of luck with everything, and we appreciate you stopping by and giving us some time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's fun.
We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to give you guys a quick break. I'm going to have Johnny and Prater come on for a few minutes, and then we'll wrap up with you guys in about 15 minutes, if that's all right. I want to dive in a little more to the actual spring game. We haven't really talked much about what they might see or might not see or storylines going in, but we'll do that.
You want to see Ashton Genty, get there early.
There you go. But they'll be back to help us wrap it up in a few minutes. Johnny and Prater are going to join us next. We're back in about 1 minute here on Bronco Nation News.
RowPaint.com is going all in this season with an all-star lineup. It's Coach Leon Rice and Andy Rowe.
Oh, no. Want to just paint my house?
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
When I want Boise...
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's Truck Month. It's our favorite month of the year at Lithia Ford of Boise. Time to pick up savings, pick up power, pick up fun. And the best place to pick up yours? Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
All right, we're adjusting to the 3-camera set here. We got Mike Prater, we got John Mallory. You hear them, Prater in the ball game, weekdays 3 to 6, KTIK. You hear Mike Prater on Mondays, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News, Johnny on Wednesdays, and as part of our partnership here, appreciate you guys for stopping by. A beautiful day, a packed house here on the patio, just kind of a fun day to wrap up spring football.
Yeah, we just walked over from the parking lot too. Holy cow. I know there's an event going on at Extra Mile Arena, but it's crazy over there. Parking lot's full. The lines are deep, and I know it's cool, man. And Johnny and I got really excited the other day when we got our free Ashton Genty t-shirt. We got a free one, but it's crazy. There's like 1,000 people standing in line.
Is there
2 hours early for a $4 t-shirt?
The Genty watch.
Yes.
I was going to ask you about that.
I walked right by it, and it's for a free t-shirt, but I kind of get it. So I'm not making fun of anybody because game when I got excited. We hung it up. It's cool. Yeah. So you didn't get one.
My wife told me to try to get one for her, and I didn't
good
get
luck.
it. So
they're already gone.
Not happening.
First, Johnny took the Gatorade from Ashton Genty. Now he's taking the T-shirts from other folks, I guess, apparently. But yeah, I heard the parking lots were already pretty full, and
it's full.
Yeah, there is another event you said, so it's kind of tricky. But we've all expected with Malachi and the excitement of this team, this will be, you would think, can't ask for better weather, which they've had some bad luck in years past with the spring game. I can't imagine this is probably going to be one of the better, well-attended spring games in a while.
Johnny's predicting
what are we thinking?
Plus.
Yeah, I mean, can 10,000 people show up for this thing on this day? It's free.
Yeah,
I don't know what I mean. Isn't there a marathon going on?
Right to Romy Creek, but that's up a little bit north of the foothill.
I don't know what other events people are getting into. Obviously, it's Boise, so there's a million things, but indications early that this is going to be a nice crowd today. It's going to be hot on the blue, man.
First half, non-tackle, which I think they're doing that specifically so Ashton Genty can play in front of these fans, which is kind of a cool thing when you think about it, because otherwise there's just no point for him to get tackled. So he still probably won't play a ton, but you're going to get to see a couple carries from Ashton Genty. The second half, when it's more of the backups, they'll get more physical, more tackling, just keep everybody healthy. So it's not going to be a traditional game. A lot of the guys are injured anyway. We kind of almost 10 starters maybe are going to be out today. But I guess just big picture for folks either tailgating or in their car driving down, what are the storylines they should be looking at? What are you guys going to be looking at today?
Well, the running backs, I think, will be the stars. Jenny's going to get it. I'm going to predict, and this is going to be the easiest prediction I've ever made, let's go with a 66-yard touchdown run, because he's going to pop off the wrap, as they like to call it in the first half, the wrap. And then, he's going to give the fans what they want, and he's going to keep running like we see in practice every single Wednesday or every single Tuesday and Thursday. And he'll get all the way to the end zone, even though it'll kind of have a fake touchdown. But it'll be the loudest cheer of the day.
Yes.
And then we know for a fact, because this is spring game history, Sire Gaines and Breezy Dubar will be the rock stars of the second half.
Yes, and both the coaches who have been part of scripting plays and things, both said that they guarantee you there will be a long Ashton Genty touchdown somehow. They just won't blow the whistle and let him keep going.
No, the whistle will blow and he'll still keep going.
He wants to hear the roar of the crowd. He's missed that. He hasn't heard it since November 24th, the last game they played on the blue against Air Force, and he knows how the crowd, the level will increase the further he gets. And heck yeah, he's jonesing for that. It's going to be a show. I'll go to the quarterbacks, though. I mean, the stats will be dissected. I want to see, how they're operating, whatever unit they're in. If they're just moving the ball, I don't know if I've been to a Boise State spring game where I'm like, wow, the offense looked dialed in. It feels like the defense always dominates. Remember that one game, McLean Griffin was their leading receiver in the spring game?
We were saying Tyler Crow is always the leading rusher.
Yeah. And so it felt like the offense has struggled. Maybe it won't today. Maybe they'll move the football and we'll see some guys be able to, see what we see in practice. The crowd would love to see Prince Strawn leap over a defensive back and have a one-handed snag in the end zone. They'd love that. Hopefully we see a couple of those plays, but that's usually, I've never left a spring game excited about what I saw from a football standpoint. It's about the celebration of football being back for me.
And this year, I think it's going to be even more so with the no tackling in the first half and very basic offensive plays, defensive plays, whatever. This is probably a topic for next week. I was talking to Tust about this, but next week when we're trying to put a bow on the spring game, we're going to probably do a show or get some thoughts on like an all spring team or guys that we either saw in practice that we really liked or names that coaches and players continue to bring up. Sire Gaines is certainly on that list. Matt Lauder is certainly on that list. Hall Schmidt at right tackle is certainly on that list. What are some names of some guys that either have stood out to you or you've heard talked about that maybe if fans are looking for individual players today, where should they look?
Well, I mean, he's not new this year, but Johnny and I were just talking off camera here about Ty Benefield and the rise of that guy. And, he certainly has taken a big step. Jeremiah Irby is probably the guy. We said this the other day on Idaho Sports Talk. I think he's the one guy in my mind. I don't know what the coaches are thinking, but in my mind, he's the one guy that is locked up. And I mean, locked up a starting job on August 31st against Georgia Southern, the other cornerback spot. I think I'd be stunned at this point if it's not Marion McCoy and Jeremiah Irby in that cornerback spot. So he's done a fantastic job of just capturing our attention. We go to these practices and stand together all the time, the three of us, and we just look at each other like, did he just make that play again? How many times did we say that about Irby this year?
Yeah, every single practice. Yes. And that would be the one I would say
he's 24,
strongly.
right? Number 24.
Yeah,
yes.
I would say make sure you watch the Cal kid. He's had a sensational spring. I guess I could add how about locally? What if Austin Bolt, who by all regards has had a sensational spring, especially the Dirk Cutter comments. I mean, has stood out. What if Austin Bolt has 7 catches for 137 yards and 2 touchdowns today? Won't happen, but if it does, imagine the hype and the buzz for the local kid to finally have a really good performance on the blue in front of this crowd, and the buzz that would go into fall camp, something like that. I'm going to be paying attention to Austin Bolt today too, and the receivers in general. But what is he going to be, a 5th-year junior, Prater?
Something like
right?
that.
Austin Bolt, like it's crazy how long he's been here and the eligibility he still has.
In the wide receiver room, I'm also looking at Latrell Capels because it's been a long time since we've seen that dude on a football field. And, he's going to line up in the slot. He's going to be an easy target for the 2 quarterbacks. And I think he's going to be very productive today. So Latrell Capels is the guy that stands out for me. And, you mentioned the right tackle spot. You mentioned Hall Schmidt. And he certainly is, right tackle 1, but Kyle Young, whatever Dirk Cutter calls him these days. I think it's Kyle Cox, but Dirk Cutter is still learning the roster. There was a good battle at right tackle, and I saw Pete Cavender coming in and kind of talk to him about the little lineman 101 in terms of if I'm looking at the right tackle spot for about 10, 15 minutes, which I want to, what do you look for? And he talked about leverage in hands and just being able to own and dominate your space. So I'll be looking at the right tackle spot a little bit today as well.
Alex Guerrero has joined us here for a couple of minutes.
What a beautiful day.
Beautiful day, man.
How about it?
You're back in town. A lot of excitement about this team. What's just your thoughts on the program, man?
Excitement, anxiousness. I took a little bit of everything, right? I think in the NIL era, I think there's always going to be a little anxiety involved in, how the team starts with new pieces and people that are getting looking to mold into, Bronco way, coming from different programs or, so I think it's a fun year, man. I'm excited to see what we can get done.
Describe just the name of the game right now. I mean, you dealing in the world of NIL and, man, it comes at him before. You didn't have to worry about it until after you exhausted your collegiate eligibility. Now, I mean, you can be 15 years old at a 7-on-7 camp, and all of a sudden you got folks talking to you and working stuff out. How do you navigate that world, Alex?
Well, we're going to need a 4-hour show for that. But I will tell we have that on Monday. Check back on Monday. I'll check back in, but I mean, initially I thought it was going to be something that was tremendous because in my personal experience, I was someone that was always intentional with my relationships. And though it wasn't anything illegal, I always knew that the relationship side was something that I did and I wanted to do. And on the NIL front, I was like, great, the guys are going to be able to do this and be incentivized to do it. But unfortunately, it turned into more of a grab, right? What can we get? It started making a team sport, an individual sport, which is it's a different world that we live in now, and I understand that part, but there's a reason it's the best team sport there is, mine. Everyone's got to be unified, one common goal, right? 11 guys on the side of a ball going for one common goal, and it's made it more difficult for that. Just one more thing for these coaches to have to prepare guys on. So
I'm not sure we were planning on going down this direction, but since we're kind of talking about some of the hiccups of college football these days, my mind, I mean, you know my mind. We've been hanging out together too long. You know where my mind goes. Yep. I'm worried about like a Monday morning, and I'm targeting 2 or 3 players, and I won't say them out of respect because I'm just kind of speculating. The transfer portal, it's open right now.
Right.
And spring game's over, and there's going to be a dozen kids out there worrying and contemplating and wondering about their future. How much do we have to worry about the transfer portal over the next 48 hours?
Yeah, I bet coaches are going to start figuring out what they can show at spring games, right? Because it's almost everything is a recruiting aspect of it, right? If you're going to play, in a spring game, like, do you let a guy go and get 12 catches? Because he's going to use that as a resume builder, right? Like, so everything is got to be. Yeah. Like, do we want to show that Austin Bolt could get 200 yards? You're that Prince. I mean, that's again the anxiousness that comes from it. But I think you still got to develop. Your first job is to develop these kids, get them started to unify. You're going to get fall camp for that. But right now, you want to see who can handle what load. Who's mixing well together. But yeah, man. I mean, the transfer portal being open right now is another thing that's just so nitpicky that I get about. It's just like, why did the NCAA allow these dates to be ones that are open, right? Like, did they not see that these kids that are making decisions based on irrational thoughts, right? I can't tell you how many irrational thoughts I had when I was a player, but I didn't have that access to be like, you know what, I feel like leaving today. Because if I get kicked out of a meeting or I get yelled at the wrong way, I could go back and be like, you know what? I probably could play somewhere else. I just had a great year as a junior. I mean, coming into my junior year, I had a better draft grade than I had my senior year. There was an article that came out that said if Alex Guerrero played at LSU, he'd be a national star, right? That's kind of stuff would have drove me out the door right away if I had the access to it, right? But I think that's the problem. Why is the access there? I do think that there's an opportunity for growth through this, but I just don't think the infrastructure is there.
Love it. Yeah, he's the man, dude. Love Guerrero. We need to get him on.
Yeah, it sounds like a.
And the reason why the NCAA put this calendar there is because there's a simple answer to that. They're scared to death of student athletes right now.
Oh yeah, they're running the show right now, boys.
Yeah,
they're running the show right now. And I couldn't tell you how scared I was of coaches back in the day, but like a $300,000 NIL deal, and you're walking by someone that you make more money than.
It changes the dynamic.
I've heard some wild things be said to coaches in college and pros, but usually in the pros, it's when it borderline against like disrespect. Never happened in college because you're like, this guy can cut me, this guy can let me go, this guy's not going to let me play. But what are you going to tell?
It's like, you better be nice to me or I'm transferring. Right. Yeah, 100%. And as you said, as you've reported, I mean, Ashton Genty is making more than his running backs coach.
He's the 5th highest paid employee on the campus.
And I'll spin this to the positive way. I think that's what Spencer Danielson is going to thrive in because he connects at a deeper level on the kids and the parents that want that connection. When those moments of, making an irrational decision comes, you just like in any relationship, right? You pour into the bank, right? Good things. So when something bad happens, right, you remember, man, Spencer met me halfway here, right? This is the way he treated my coach when something went wrong. Like all those things, I think is where Spencer's going to thrive. Coach Danielson, I should call him. But either way, it's still a tough task. But I do think that was definitely part of Jeremiah's decision-making skills. Who's going to serve us best in the climate that we have today?
Who's your tell us about, before we let you go, tell us about the Gridiron Dreams, and I know you got who are some of the guys you got coming back and plug that.
We're actually working through something fun for Gridiron Dreams this year. We're going to have it more geared towards like the football that we have out there today. With 7-on-7 flag football is going to be implemented into the camp. We're going to have a lot of guys that are coming in. We got Scott, JL, obviously guys that are part of the society family, and then I got a pretty good roster of the current guys. I'm waiting to announce those because those guys are actually going to be part of a new NIL Gridiron Dreams Ambassador program I'm launching. We got some great partners that we're working on. We're going to try to close that, but it's going to put a spin on NIL where we're going to go a little deeper and we're going to try to develop these guys to try to not just get the bag, but get developed and become guys that are going to be reputable in that world.
So what's the website, or how can folks get more
gridirondreams.net. You guys can check it out. The camp is going to be May 31st through June 1st. It's the only camp that's only coached by former and current football Boise State Broncos, non-padded, so anyone can come, whether you've played for 5 years or you're new to the game and you want to be around people that have achieved, right? We call our coaches achievers, right? Because our tagline is dream it, achieve it, right? Our guys achieved it, right? They achieved their goals. They put some in front of them, and the guys that come are our dreamers, right? The young guys that are coming in, the young girls, whatever, man. We're going to have a blast, and we always do. 14 years. I'm very proud of it. It's helped me become who I am today on many levels, and I'm excited to be back again. Summer.
Yeah, my kids came, I think, 2 summers ago, and I'll probably try to come. Whatever summer it was, I remember Hank Bachmeyer was out there, so my son liked it. So
what school is he at now? Is he?
Where did he go?
Wake Forest?
Did he go again to Wake Forest or something? Yeah.
Hold on a second. Where do you guys go to alumni weekends? When they go in 5 years, like where does Hank Bachmeyer go for?
I saw somebody say something about Chibuzo Abo transferring, and they said, "I hope that he's still part of the family." And unfortunately, if you leave and go to another school, I don't think a Hank Bachmeyer could come back here.
We'll see over time how
it will be on the fans.
But can Hank Bachmeyer go to the alumni social?
No.
Like, I don't think so.
Hank went to the bowl game and was like creeping around. You could just see like he knew people were like, someone's going to say something.
Wow.
But again, it's just a weird deal. It's a dynamic you don't want.
And it's the dynamic that still hasn't raised its ugly head in terms of NIL.
Yes.
I mean, Alex Guerreros of the world are going to disappear 5 to 10 years from now because of the sense of community. We just saw 15 football players walk up the stairs here at this facility at the James, a sense of community. And Hank Bachmeyer is never going to be a true part of that. You guys can fake it and give him a have fun one night, but you're not a community man.
At the end of the day, I got into team sports because a lot of my friends were playing it, and football brought a level of camaraderie I'd never felt before. It just hurts me that we're losing that, right? Like we've lost that sense of like, and it's not against empowering the athlete, which I think is what the movement's around. Like they deserve. What they do deserve is the impact of what team sports is and how it's built. Tremendous community. Look at what it's done to the city of Boise. Right. I mean, the trickle-down economics of what Boise State football did to Boise, Idaho. Look at the prices. Look at Boucher driving around in a Bentley. Holy crap! Like, this life is good. Bouch, let me get a car, man.
He's busy selling BJ's.
He did sell my house. That next Bentley's coming, I think. Yeah. Hey, Alex, we really appreciate your time, man. Good luck with everything,
Absolutely.
and we'll be in touch, man. There he is, Alex Guerrero. Finish up final couple things here for you guys. Spring game, the storylines. I mean, I remember Johnny. We sat here and did a post game show last year after the spring game, and you said there's a real chance this team might be 1-4. With the schedule they had last year going into the season. Just big picture. All summer we have to hype this thing up. I mean, what's just the excitement level, I guess, for you guys and what it should be in this town, for this team?
Just to see the guys run around. I mean, like I said before, they haven't seen it since November. They get to see it again. They won't see it. I mean, this thing goes dark for like 3 months. We'll see how we are able to talk to some of these players and coaches throughout that period. But just a chance to celebrate football and and see a lot of people that maybe I've met in the past and whatnot. It's just kind of a congregation of football. Yeah. And I want to get to, by the way.
Yes.
A good program carries these 3 months with superstars, and Boise State's got superstars right now, maybe more than they've had in quite a while in terms of, even if he hasn't played, Malachi Nelson right now in Boise, Idaho is a superstar. Ashton Genty, it goes without saying. Ahmad Hassanani is a low level, growing, rising superstar who everybody loves and appreciates in this town. And there's 3 or 4 that may even emerge today. The Ty Benefields, the wide receiver, Austin Bull. This team will market superstars to the next 3 months. Jeremiah Dickey's going to go off and sell his 20,000 season tickets. He might have a chance to do that. As a matter of fact, I'll predict that he does. He'll figure out a way to make it work with sub packages and little packages and big packages and everything that he puts out there marketing wise. And he puts a goal onto it, you guys, and he always achieves that goal, whether he has to spin it a little bit or not. But it's just aggressive marketing, and they're going to be aggressive marketers over these next 3 months. And I think this football team is going to go into August with just a massive amount of buzz that we haven't seen around here for a long time.
Well, appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll see you over in the press box, and then looking forward to what should be a fun game, a quick game. It sounds like it's going to be more of a glorified practice than a full scrimmage. Opening kickoff to the house, right? You know that's coming. Yep. They always have the opening kickoff to the house. You mentioned Genty getting a long touchdown.
Yeah.
I guess they'll let Ferguson, Reynolds, and Dalmas do their thing. That's easy to do without hurting anybody. Let's let them put on a show today.
I know Dalmas was practicing 60-yarders in practice the other day, and he had one that bounced off the crossbars, so maybe we can see a 60-yarder today too.
I was telling Johnny they should put, because we were watching one of the punts from Ferguson Reynolds. It was like going through some of the openings in the indoor. They should like hang some hula hoops or like targets up there and see if James Ferguson Reynolds at a practice sometime could hit those. But
ball comes off different, baby.
Thanks, BJ.
Offense, defense. Who wins today? I know it's a weird scoring, but who do we got? We had
offense.
One scrimmage was offense. One scrimmage was defense. Okay.
I'm all offense today. I'm all offense. I think it's going to be a big explosive day. And, there's half the offense or half the defensive starters aren't even playing, but I smell a big offensive day.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you in there.
Thanks, BJ.
We're going to bring back Kent Riddle and Brad Bedell to finish up the show. Want to let you know about our golf tournament again, May 31st at Timberstone Golf Course. Timberstone Golf Course, May 31st. We're looking forward to that. I think Kip was hoping to get a new B&N shirt if you see him. I don't know if we have his size or not, but we can check it out there. May 31st, Timberstone Golf Course. 3 foursomes left in the morning. We got a couple left in the afternoon. So if you're looking to play, May 31st, we're looking forward to that. We had a lot of former players and folks out there. Kent has played at least 1 year, maybe 2. We're hoping to get Brad out there for his first time in the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament this year. But
let's be honest, nobody's going to beat Boucher's team, whoever he shows up with. So
yeah, he had Vinny, I think, last year, and I forget who else he had.
He had Ty Travis. And,
it's just a fun time.
The power of the pencil.
Did you play in the afternoon the last time? I think you played with some. Yeah, that was fun day, fun. A lot of people around here hanging out. Sorry to pull you away from your conversations for our final 5-10 minutes here, but as we kind of started the show, we'll end it the same way. Just the game today. I know it's more of a celebration and kind of a kickstart to what should be a anticipated off season going into the fall. But for fans tailgating and watching or driving down in the car right now, what are just your general thoughts on the game today, what they won't see, what they should be looking for? And
it's going to be pretty vanilla. You're going to see the stuff, probably that they were finished last season on, and then stuff that Dirk had done the year before. Offensively, defensively, you're probably going to see some pretty basic fronts and coverages, maybe 1 or 2 pressures, not many. Certainly nothing exotic that hadn't been on film. But mostly what the coaches are going to be looking for is just, how the guys are functioning, how they're communicating out there, what kind of energy, trying to avoid that and make sure the personnels are correct, make sure the special teams are getting on and off the field with some kind of urgency. It's never perfect. It's not going to be a game like, because you got guys coming from both sides of the field. So that always makes it a little bit tricky, but
does the
that's
scoring
kind of
favor
stuff.
the offense or defense? How you guys usually do this?
I don't know what the scoring is now, but the last few years, 100% have favored the defense. I still can't understand for the life of me as an offensive coach. Like, we want to score touchdowns. I get it. But if you drive the ball 70 yards, you start at your own 20, you drive it 70 yards,
you should get some points,
and you
for
have
that.
to kick a field goal. Well, you get 3. You get the 3 points, but the defense gets 4 for forcing you to kick a field goal.
In the red zone, it's even worse. Yeah.
But I'm like,
so we lost.
So somehow we drove the ball 70 yards, had to kick a field goal.
You allowed us to go 70, but you get more points.
But we went -1. So I that makes no sense to me as an offensive coach.
Weren't you part of doing the scoring?
Generally, when that scoring stuff came out, it was everybody just wants the spring game, like to get through it with no injuries.
Get over it.
You're not going to create an argument that's going to make the staff meeting about the spring game go 1 minute longer.
No doubt.
People agree with you. It says it makes zero sense. But Brad, again, you're not going to see, Ashton Genty getting tackled today. You're not going to see a lot of the starters.
Nor should you.
You're not going to see a lot of the, really, you're going to see a lot of base plays, a lot of you're not going to see a lot of what they've been working on. So that I know fans' opinions, media's opinions from the spring game are always, it's one game. It's what we have, or one open practice with stats to look at and say. But I know really what we talked about earlier, the first 14 practices have way more impact.
There's
on this.
no doubt. I mean, the first 14 you have, the greatest thing about spring is the first 14 you're evaluating, you're going to some type of depth chart that every media guy wants to see, right? Which is going to change. But in the spring game, is like Rid said, it's a celebration of the kids have worked hard for 14. You get to put on a game jersey and mom and dad can come and see them practice and things like that. I do agree with Rid about the energy part, because you also don't want the kids like, hey, spring's done. What do you I'm going to dinner with mom and dad. I haven't seen mom and dad in 3 months. I haven't, and you want the energy to be there because you still want to take advantage of the day, right? It's a practice. So the other thing I always enjoyed, one of the few things you enjoy about a spring game is you're going to see a lot of one-on-ones and things like that. So it's like, okay, how are we doing, right? Yeah. Your technique, like when you brought up with Grant earlier, it's like, how's the technique? You grade technique hard in this scrimmage because, hey, it's one-on-one. It's his technique, it's your technique. And so that's a good evaluation of also, as you're going through, you're grading it, you're looking at the 15th practice. Now you're getting your idea of what the kids really need to hone in on in the summer. And then from the summer, okay, we accomplish that. Now fall camp, where we get great during the summer and where we didn't.
Especially the young guys that haven't played much. Like you want to see with people in the stands, like can they operate like they have in all the other practices, or is it like and they're freaking out and you're like, you haven't done that in 14 practice. Why would you do that? And they're like, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, the headsets and upstairs, and you can't tell hey, move out. It's 2 yard split. You can't do that.
Now, we haven't seen Maddox Madsen do a lot of the team stuff because this is rap. Maybe they do something where they let him hand it off at least. I don't know. But either way, he hasn't really been he's been out there, but hasn't been a part of the scrimmages or the team drills.
If he's not been in 11-on-11, I don't know why they would put him in it today.
Okay, so we probably won't see him today then.
How do you
guys? We had Eric Nelson on. Obviously, a lot of eyes are going to be on him. CJ Tiller, it sounds like, has made great improvements from last year as well. That playing in that bowl game, I think some fans unfairly kind of look at him and say, okay, well, it didn't go very well in that game. He can't play. And so he gets that experience. Now he has the spring.
Now he's got something to base it off of.
And we're going to see a lot of those two guys today.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do you guys look at, I guess, the quarterback battle? And Dirk obviously was around and liked Mad Dog and knows what he can do. Sure. And so he's seen his film, but you got two other guys. And you're going to have.
I'll bet you Colt Fulton goes like 10 for 11 today for I'm telling you.
It always happens.
Yeah.
His dad's a big BNN fan.
Awesome.
Love the Fulton family.
He should.
The one thing about the quarterback battle is, for anybody who's listening who wants news in the next week saying, oh, this is it, that you're not getting it. You're not getting it. We got to get into fall camp and let Meta get in there and get with it and operate with the team and do things like that. And then when it's their time, when they've made their educated and they've seen their practices, watched the film, and Spencer and Dirk and the offensive staff got in a room and talked about everything, they'll make the right decision for their football program. But it is not going to happen today, and it's not going to happen tomorrow. And you need to get this is going to go into fall camp, which it should, with Meta getting healthy.
And nobody wants two quarterbacks, and I don't think that they're going to play two quarterbacks. I'm not saying that, but this competition could go well on into next season. I mean,
no doubt.
You've got that second game of the year out there with Oregon, who, as much as I said Oregon State and Washington State are getting decimated by the portal, Oregon's only getting better by it. Yep. So you got that one out there. I mean, that game might look a little different than whoever we're playing in week 12.
Were you still on staff when they played Dylan Gabriel at UCF?
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to remember that.
Yep.
Dylan Gabriel is now transferred to Oregon.
Oh,
so
yeah.
He's they're gonna.
Yeah, he's on his 14th year in college, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't suck
too. I guess final thing, just kind of putting a bow on the spring, heading into the summer. I mean, what? There's obviously going to be a lot of excitement about this team, as there should be. Just what big picture, I guess. This team, you have the new playoff starting this year. There's an opportunity there, and we feel like the offense is going to be pretty good. I mean, what? I guess if there was, I don't say concerns, but what are just your if there was something you want to see between now and the first game in terms of, this team, whether it's a position or a player, just anything that needs to come up to the level, or do you think I think the biggest thing, ready to go 12-0 or what?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say they're ready to go 12-0. They've got a lot of development to get there, but I think the biggest thing is to get all the guys that are missing from spring ball back and healthy, and that's going to not be until probably middle of summer, but they should be good, barring anything that happens today.
Yep.
I would think they would be good for the start of fall camp. And I think that's when we'll get a better chance to evaluate them and see that stuff. Because, right now they're playing a little bit thin in the secondary. Markel hasn't really done anything or done much all
Mason Reynolds hasn't practiced a whole lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're without two offensive line.
Some of their
starters.
offensive line, those guys need to get caught up. That's another great thing about this is you're going to see some offensive linemen that haven't played a lot.
Yeah.
And where's the depth at?
Yep.
Because now depth is going to lead. If they're playing really well, now you got competition going in. And if you're not on the field and somebody's playing well, it's the way football is. You're putting the best 11 to win a football game.
Absolutely.
Don't get hurt.
What's the rules again, by the way, after today? I know they've changed some, but is literally the next time that the coaches see a player throw a football the first day of practice, or what can they do now in the summer?
No, you can be on there.
You can be on the field, but I don't think they can be out there while they're going full speed throwing.
No, not like
they can do individual with
them.
Yeah,
you can do that type of thing.
Oh, you can still do that kind of stuff.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay. There's a certain number of hours per week or whatever, and
lots of
watch 7 on.
They'll do lots of walkthroughs.
You can have a ball now,
and then the coaches will leave, and the guys will do it full speed with the players running it. And in my opinion, that's a place where Boise State's always gotten better. Guys like Grant, Alex, leading the charge on that. And
that's where your leadership, where you're going to find out what coaches are there. Your leadership's your leadership, right? You find out who your leaders are in the summer, and that's why you do captains in fall camp. Because you're going to see your leadership in the summer, because as coaches, after today, where they grade it, I don't know what their plan is, but remember, some guys are gone. They're going to leave Sunday. Tomorrow, they may leave Monday or Tuesday.
Coaches head out recruiting.
And now you got the recruiting, and then the kids leave. Remember, graduation's next weekend, so they got to go to finals. And then the players leave. Some of the coaches aren't here. And then the players come back. The coaches will be here, and they'll start. And it's a whole dynamic of summer that's different as camps.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. That's why your leadership of your football team is where the spring is important. Your summer is vital.
Do you think, Brad, is the excitement in this town and this fan base, is it warranted? Do you think this is a team that has a chance to be pretty good?
Oh, absolutely. I won't give a record right now, but I think the excitement is real, and it's warranted. It's what you have coming back. The expectations are high. And I think that's important. And then who wants to go into a city with bad expectations? This is not the way Boise State football works. Yeah. Every year you win a championship. That's it. If you don't win a championship,
coming off a hot
and returning so many people.
Yeah.
Now there's there's a position I'm interested to see today is a little bit linebacker. They got to replace DJ, who's a high tackler who, the young kid came in last year, played really well. Now he's got to run it.
Yeah, he won't be.
And he's not playing a whole lot. So that's a position I'm interested to see what happens.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know, Brad, we met. We're hoping to keep you involved moving forward. Maybe some either opponent breakdown or we got some other ideas on some things maybe to keep Brad involved, and certainly planning to hopefully do the post game shows at least next year.
I'll be here for that.
And
I'm just waiting to get on Rid and Riley.
It's coming. Yeah, we got it.
We talked about only doing. See, there's so many guests you could bring on. Maybe we at least go twice a month in the off season, and we try to keep it going a little. We talked about doing one more episode next week and then not bringing it back till the season starts, but you guys could tell stories and talk football any time of year.
Absolutely. Brad and I have plenty of stories.
Yeah. And on an 8 p.m. evening show, you can give more of them than you can, during the day too.
Yeah. So. Well, and at some point they become not football stories, but
yeah. Which that's the one thing I like what their show's doing is there's so many more aspects of college football that your listeners don't know. And between the NIL with Winston, awesome. With Joel, awesome.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing is like everybody here wants to are wondering why does Boise State ask for money so much? Well, these are the reasons why Boise State needs the money.
Yep.
I mean, that's the way it is.
Yeah, Alex Guerrero was just talking about how crazy things are now with all that, and we just got to get rid of better camera.
Yes, I'll work on it. I'll figure out a way to upgrade. Maybe Sanford will lend me his studio.
I think we made it a full show with no audio, no video problems. I think we had perfect audio literally from the first. So we're learning. The upgraded equipment is helping. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We appreciate Barry and Perry and the whole staff here at the James for having me. You could not. I remember days where it was pouring down rain for the spring game, cold. I mean, this is as good as the weather.
Yeah, in all seriousness, like if you're just looking for something to do on a Saturday afternoon, come out, enjoy the weather.
You got about an hour till
watch
kickoff.
some football. Swing by. You know, it's not like you have to stay for the whole thing, but come on by and check them out. I know the guys will appreciate it, having a little energy in the stadium there.
I would think this has got to be one of the better attended spring games in a while, probably, with the excitement for this team and the weather.
Well,
and
just judging by the number of people out here right now,
yes.
I would think so.
Yes, it feels like a regular game day up here. It's
really
been it's a cool thing. We're looking forward to getting over there in the stadium. So appreciate you guys. Thanks to Brad and Kent, you guys for giving up your time and hanging out. And thanks to all of our other guests that stopped by. Hope you enjoyed the show. Enjoy the game. We'll have no post-game show. We got some obligations tonight with the spring game getting pushed back a week, kind of screwed up some plans, but looking to maybe wrap it up tomorrow or some other time. We'll be in touch on that. But 9 a.m. Monday, we'll start to wrap up the spring game and put a bow on it and start to look ahead to the summer. And we'll have plenty of coverage continuing into the summer as well. So post-game interviews, highlights, all kinds of stuff will be on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel after the game. And again, the James, perfect spot, whether there's a football game or not. If you're looking for a good spot to hang out, happy hour, food, drinks. If you guys had the Ashton Genty sandwich yet, it's they got a new Ashton Genty sandwich you can get and all kinds of other great.
DJ Schramm's coming by, I think.
Yeah, the motorcycle goes by. Yeah, the pizza, drinks, everything is great here. So appreciate everybody. Hope you're having a fun day. Enjoy the game wherever you're watching it from. And again, we'll talk to you guys later. Plenty of post-game coverage coming to BroncoNationNews.com and the YouTube channel. Thanks to Jaden Finch for helping us get everything set up. Thanks to you guys, and enjoy the spring game. We'll talk to you guys later.
Shout
from
out
the
to
James.
Dickie Z in the background there.
Yeah, I did see him over. Oh, yeah, there. Yeah. But appreciate you guys. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News Live here at Bronco Nation News.